Boogie2988. Boogie2988, also known as Stephen Williams, is an obese YouTuber who started his career with a persona named Francis, who is an individual who would throw nerdy, dramatic tantrums and freakouts for comedy. Many of these videos went viral, such as Dramatic Fat Guy Splash. Boogie would later open up more about his personal life, talking about obesity problems and personal traumas. Many fit people found these videos to be candid, and people started calling Boogie the Mr. Rogers of YouTube. Then everything changed when he started live streaming. Boogie would often say or do very disturbing and offensive things on live streams. At first, he tried to play this off as just poorly done comedy, but the more he streamed, the worse things got. He would kind of lean into this douchey mindset the more time progressed, but that would mean him getting into crypto scams and other cringe antics. All of this culminated in him faking a cancer diagnosis. As punishment for this abhorrent lie, Keemstar demanded that he tattooed the word liar on his face. Wings of Redemption. Wings of Redemption, or Jordy, is another obese YouTuber who started his career as a Call of Duty commentary channel. He was early on the scene and managed to get a lot of popularity this way. He would be one of the members of the PKA podcast for a very long time as well. However, his anger issues would reveal themselves more and more as he released videos. This culminated in his live COD match with Syndicate. He ended up losing and absolutely raging at the end, burning several bridges and going on a downward spiral. He kept behaving badly to the point where he was kicked off the PKA podcast. The moment where his reputation hit an all-time low was when he had a major rage quit one stream after players joined his game to sabotage him. This was released in a video called Wings of Redemption Gets Stream Sniped and Loses It. From this, a Wings of Redemption trolling network was formed of several channels with parody names such as Lord of the Wings. Wings has been up and down since then, one of his higher highs being when he beat Boogie's ass in a boxing match. Things seemed to be looking up for him again as he was on Keemstar's newest podcast, Lolcows Live, but then he had to go and ruin it again by shoving his wife on camera after getting into some stupid argument with Keem. DarkSydePhil. DarkSydePhil, or DSP, or Philip Burnell, is a gaming YouTuber who initially got his start doing fighting games competitions, specifically with the game Street Fighter. He saw some success with this and would later be one of the pioneers of the Let's Play genre of videos. However, Phil isn't very good at games outside of fighting games. He would struggle a lot to play these video games, would rage like a man-child, and would honestly act pretty stupidly while playing, missing basic clues while freaking out. This culminated in a popular video release called This Is How You Don't Play, Metal Gear Solid 2. This would erupt into a video series by YouTubers called This Is How You Don't Play, or TIHYDP. Phil's reputation as a gamer was in the gutter at this point. It went even lower after he was caught cranking it on livestream. Thankfully, we didn't actually see any explicit material, but we did see his face during the pleasure section. Ugh. This had a major impact on his ability to monetize. Ever since this, Phil has ran into financial issue after financial issue, and yet somehow he always barely crawls out of this hole to post on his social media accounts, which are on life support. FouseyTube. FouseyTube, also known as Yusuf, is a popular YouTuber with bipolar and depression who got popular doing prank videos and making Arab Muslim related videos. He initially got into controversy for faking several pranks, which resulted in a manic crash where the Fousey cycle started. The Fousey cycle starts when he is depressed, then he gets new momentum where he starts going hard on something and gets popular again. Then he starts acting like a douchebag, whether he's blatantly lying, flexing his wealth, treating his employees terribly, or whatever. Then he has a major crash out. This could be an arrest, a public meltdown, or both. Then Fousey winds back up where he started, possibly even lower. He's been given several chances at a career revival, but each time he shows he's incapable of controlling himself. iDubbbz. iDubbbz, also known as Ian Jomha, was an edgy, crass YouTuber known for his I don't give a crap attitude. He was famous for many series of videos, most famously the Content Cops, where he'd ruthlessly call out another YouTuber for their terrible behavior, which would usually end up destroying their reputation. He was also known for throwing a short-lived boxing event series called Creator Clash. Things started to take a turn when he married another sketchy woman named Anissa, and she started selling nude pictures of herself online on the platform OnlyFans. He showed himself as being bothered by this in his video about sex workers. As the years went on, he'd be more and more bothered by this, and his wife's behavior online would be more and more inflammatory, causing him to burn bridges left and right. He would end up denouncing his past edgy content, trying to rebrand as a semi-political leftist YouTuber. Specifically, he'd denounce his Content Cops because he believed they were inciting harassment. He would later do a complete 180 on this and make a content cop on his long-term friend Ethan Klein, and Ethan would ruthlessly respond to him, tanking Ian's reputation this time. Nowadays, iDubbbz spends most of his time streaming and whining about all the hate he gets, as his insecurity about his wife doing OnlyFans has taken over his entire being. Bossman Jack. Bossman Jack, also known as Austin Gambles, is a gaming and gambling streamer who got his start playing a lot of RuneScape. He would get his first taste of his addiction by gambling in RuneScape. The idea is that you would use the in-game currency to bet, and you duel another player in a PvP scenario, and the winner would get the spoils. Austin became hooked to this, and it would eventually evolve into a real-life gambling addiction. Not one at a casino, but online gambling. Many of the sites he uses are sketchy as hell, and no matter how many times he loses, he always keeps coming back. His fans will donate a little money each time as juicers, and to them it'd be worth it because he'd melt down after losing all of it. He actually has had gambling sponsorships in the past because the sites he uses know that he's just going to dump all the money he has into them, and at the end of the day, the house always wins. Austin lives with his parents at the ripe age of 30, and I imagine life must be hell for them as he's always destroying everything every time he loses in a major bet. Unfortunately, he even does self-harm when he hits himself, and he's also abused drugs in the past and has a criminal record. He's lost all his winnings more time than you can count. It's too bad because you see him go so high in these winnings, but he just can't help himself. He always gives in like a true addict. Bradtasteinmusic. Bradtasteinmusic was a rising star in the music review genre of YouTube. He would focus very hard on streaming specifically, reviewing music people would recommend, and would also do challenge streams where he'd listen to his least favorite songs on loop for several hours straight until people stopped donating. Then he started doing The Devil's Lettuce. I'm not sure if this was what sent him off the rails, as he often cites it when he talks about his mental breakdowns, but his downfall has been slow and steady for a long time now. His first controversy was when he took a picture with Ethan Klein from the H3 podcast. He got some backlash for this as Ethan was in controversy at this time. Brad immediately folded and apologized to the loud but ultimately small mob going after him, which ironically got him into much bigger controversy. He would then start bickering with people who criticized him for this, and in the end he would sort of backtracking by talking directly to Ethan Klein. He would go back and forth between deleting his videos and going on hiatus with future controversies, like when he defended Rose Malay and then doubled down and then backtracked. He burned many bridges along the way, but ultimately the final nail in the coffin is when he got arrested for domestic violence. There's actually an audio recording of him screaming at his girlfriend, but I'm not going to play it as it's very upsetting to listen to, and this guy is honestly a piece of shit. Pirate Software. Pirate Software, also known as Thor or Jason Hall, is a gaming YouTuber who got his start through nepotism, as his father, Joey Ray Hall, was a top employee working at Blizzard. This gave him an inflated ego from the start. He initially got into controversy for being a toxic player in Second Life and being an explicit furry. He would use his reputation to bully and harass other people, and it would take a while for people to start noticing his terrible behavior. During his job at Blizzard, he was a basic QA tester and not an engineer, but he still lied about all his development work he did. Eventually, he left Blizzard to do development work on his own games, where he's done very little work on them. I've checked his code myself, and as someone who's a software developer, it's absolutely abysmal and does not look like someone with a decade of experience in software engineering. Even after this, he wasn't much of a hated figure on the internet. Well, all of that changed after he attacked the Stop Killing Games initiative. Stop Killing Games is an initiative with the purpose of giving consumer rights to those who buy video games, specifically allowing live service games to have single player mode or letting people make private servers for these games when they run their life cycle. This is basic common sense, which is exactly why Jason would vehemently oppose it. His points were absolutely abysmal, and his reputation came crumbling down to the point where his terrible response actually boosted the Stop Killing Games initiative to reach its signature goal. The fallout of this basically brought everything about Jason to light, especially his fake developer claims. Everything came crashing down for him all at once, and it's hard to feel sorry for him.